My wife's ex showed up at our home unannounced. I confronted them both, and now she's begging for forgiveness. I'm a 34-year-old guy, married to my wife Emily, who's 31. We've been together for 6 years and married for 5. I thought we had a solid relationship, nothing out of the ordinary. We've had ups and downs like any couple, but I genuinely believed we were happy. That was until last Saturday when her ex-boyfriend James showed up at our house out of nowhere. It was a normal day. I was in the garage fixing some shelves while Emily was inside folding laundry. The doorbell rang, and I figured it was just the mail or a neighbor. I wiped my hands on my jeans and went to answer it. Standing there, with this smug expression, was James. I knew who he was immediately. Emily had shown me a couple of pictures when we were dating. She described him as someone she was glad to have left behind, a toxic, manipulative guy who didn't treat her right. So, you can imagine my confusion seeing him standing on my porch. "What the hell are you doing here?" I said, not bothering to hide my annoyance. "Hey man," he said like we were old friends. "I'm James. I just wanted to talk to Emily. Is she here?" I was about to tell him to get lost when Emily came to the door. Her face went pale as soon as she saw him. "James," she said, her voice barely audible. "Why are you here?" "I need to talk to you," he said. "It's important." I cut in immediately. "You don't just show up at someone's house uninvited. Whatever you need to say, you can say it right here or not at all." He ignored me completely and focused on Emily. "It's about closure. I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I need to clear the air." Emily looked panicked, like a deer caught in headlights. "This isn't the time or place," she said. "When is the time, Emily? You've been ignoring me for years. Don't I at least deserve 5 minutes?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Deserve?" I snapped. "You deserve nothing. Leave." Emily put a hand on my arm. "Let me talk to him," she said quietly. "It'll just take a minute." "What?" I stared at her, completely dumbfounded. "You're seriously going to entertain this?" "It's fine," she said, avoiding my eyes. "I'll explain everything after." I was furious but stepped aside, staying within earshot. James walked into the living room like he owned the place, and Emily followed him. I didn't trust him at all, so I lingered nearby, pretending to check my phone but listening to every word. James didn't waste any time. "I've been thinking about us," he said, like they were catching up over coffee. "I never got the chance to say what I needed to after we broke up. You left me without giving me the closure I deserved. James, we broke up years ago. I've moved on. I'm married now," Emily said, her voice shaking. "Yeah, to him," James said, glancing in my direction. "But let's be real. Did you ever really stop thinking about us?" "Because I haven't." "Stop," she said firmly. "This isn't appropriate. You need to leave." "Not until we're honest with each other," he shot back. "Tell him, Emily. Tell him the truth, or I will." "What truth?" I said, stepping into the room. My patience was gone. "If you've got something to say it now." James smirked. 6 months before your wedding, Emily and I hooked up. She told me she wasn't sure about marrying you, that she missed what we had. The room went silent. I looked at Emily, waiting for her to deny it. She didn't. She started crying instead. "Is he telling the truth?" I asked, my voice cold. She nodded, barely able to meet my eyes. "It was a mistake," she said. "It didn't mean anything." James laughed, like this was all some kind of joke. "Didn't mean anything? You said you were confused, that you weren't sure he was the one." "Shut up," I snapped at him. "You've done enough damage. Get out of my house." "Fine," he said, raising his hands like he was some kind of martyr. "But don't say I didn't warn you. There's more to this than you think." After he left, I turned to Emily. "Explain," I said. "Now." She was a mess, crying so hard she could barely speak. "It was one time," she said. "I was overwhelmed with the wedding, and he reached out. I didn't know how to handle it. I never meant to hurt you. So, you cheated on me before our wedding and then lied about it for 6 years?" I said, my voice rising. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" "I was scared," she said. "I thought if I told you, you'd leave me." "You're damn right I would have left." I shouted. "You didn't just cheat. You took away my choice. You let me marry you without knowing the truth." She begged me to forgive her, saying she'd do whatever it took to fix things. I couldn't even look at her. I grabbed my keys and left, needing space to think. James wasn't done, though. Over the next few days, he made sure to stay involved, stirring the pot and making things worse. He started texting Emily, sending messages like, "I still think about us," and "If you're ever unhappy, you know where to find me." She showed me the texts, insisting she wasn't replying, but it didn't make me feel any better. 2 days after his visit, James showed up at her work. He cornered her in the parking lot and told her I was overreacting, that I'd never be able to forgive her, and that maybe she should reconsider being with someone who understood her. When she told me about it, I felt like I was going to explode. "Why didn't you call the police?" I asked. "I didn't want to escalate things," she said. "Escalate things?" I shot back. "He's stalking you, and you're worried about making it worse?" Then came the email. James decided to contact me directly, claiming there were other things Emily hadn't told me. He said he was willing to spill everything if I was ready to hear the truth. I didn't reply, but it was enough to plant even more doubt in my mind. When I confronted Emily about it, she swore there was nothing else. "He's lying to mess with you," she said. "He's trying to ruin us." "How do I know that?" I asked. "You've already lied to me once. How do I know there isn't more?" She didn't have an answer, just more tears and more begging for forgiveness. I'm staying with my brother now, trying to figure out what to do. Emily calls and texts constantly, saying she'll do whatever it takes to make things right. But how do you fix something like this? How do you rebuild trust when the foundation was a lie? James's interference was infuriating, but Emily's choices are what broke me. She cheated. She lied. She let me live in ignorance for 6 years. I spent days at my brother's place, avoiding Emily's calls and trying to make sense of everything. I replayed the last 6 years of my life over and over in my head, searching for signs I might have missed, wondering how I could have been so blind. It felt like the person I married was a stranger. My brother tried to help, but there wasn't much he could say. "It's your call, man," he told me one night. "Either you try to move forward, or you walk away. But whatever you do, don't let her guilt or his manipulation push you into something you're not ready for." Emily's messages ranged from desperate pleas to promises to cut off all contact with James. "I'll quit my job if I have to," she wrote. "I'll block him on everything. I'll do counseling, therapy, whatever you need. Just please, let's work this out." I finally agreed to meet her, not because I was ready to forgive her, but because I needed closure. If I was going to end things, I wanted to say it to her face. When I got back to the house, she looked like she hadn't slept in days. Her eyes were red and swollen, and she couldn't stop fidgeting. We sat in silence for a long time before I finally spoke. "Why did you wait so long to tell me?" I asked. "Why did you let me marry you without knowing?" She took a shaky breath. "Because I was scared," she said. "I knew what I did was wrong, and I hated myself for it. But I loved you so much, and I couldn't bear the thought of losing you. I thought if I buried it, it would go away. But it didn't go away," I said, my voice low. "And now, instead of 6 months of hurt, we're looking at 6 years. Do you even understand how much worse that makes it?" She nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I do. And I'll regret it for the rest of my life. But I swear, it was just that one time. There's nothing else. James is just trying to tear us apart because he can't stand that I chose you over him." "Did you, though?" I asked. "Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you chose him when it mattered most." She started sobbing, and for the first time since this all started, I felt something other than anger. I felt sad. Sad for what we had, for the life we built, and for the way it was crumbling right in front of me. "Do you think you can ever forgive me?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I didn't answer right away. I didn't know the answer. "Forgiveness isn't the issue," I said finally. "Trust is. How do I trust you again after this?" She didn't have an answer, and honestly, neither did I. Over the next few weeks, we tried to work through things. We went to counseling. Emily blocked James on everything, and even reported him to HR at work to make sure he stayed away. She did everything right, everything I asked of her. But no matter how hard we tried, the doubt lingered. Every time I looked at her, I saw her betrayal. Every time my phone buzzed, I half expected it to be James with another bombshell. One night, after another therapy session, I realized the truth. I didn't want to live like this. I didn't want to spend the rest of my life questioning her, second-guessing every word, every action. When I told her, she broke down completely. "Please don't do this," she begged. "We can get through this." "I know we can." "I don't know if I can," I said. "I love you, but I don't think I can be the husband you need anymore." And I don't think you can be the wife I thought you were. Leaving was the hardest thing I've ever done, but it was also the only thing that felt right. I packed a bag, moved in with my brother, and filed for divorce a week later. Emily called me every day for a month, but eventually the calls stopped. I heard through mutual friends that she moved out of the house and took a job in another city. As for James, I have no idea where he is or what he's doing. And I couldn't care less. It's been a year since everything went down, and I'm still picking up the pieces. I've started dating again, but trust doesn't come easily anymore. I don't know if I'll ever fully heal from what happened, but I do know one thing. I'll never settle for less than honesty again. If there's one thing I've learned through all of this, it's that the truth always comes out. And when it does, it has a way of exposing everything you thought you knew about the people you love.